Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is one more week of my live stream. This is what I call the Nono.MA live stream. I'm Nono Martinez Alonso, for those of you who don't know who I am, and today we're filling in for last week's live stream. I'm going to comment on some networking issues that we had last week, and if there's some lag or if the video signal is choppy, it's because we're still setting up a new connection and things like this that I'll explain later. This, in case that you're new, is a weekly time that I try to reserve every week on Thursdays, but because of this that I just mentioned, the schedules are shifting slightly lately, and we'll try to get to a recurrent schedule really soon. So I try to reserve this time every week to do creative coding and machine intelligence live, but we also cover other topics that have to do with workflow automation, sketching, podcasting, writing, and many other things that have to do with the internet, coding, and hopefully in the future some stuff related to blockchain and digital art and things like this. We also do things here that have to do with the Getting Simple podcast. That's available wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we've even recorded some episodes live, like the latest one with Jose Luis Garcia del Castillo as a guest. I am gonna get started and I'll let you know a bit more about what we're gonna do today and what I intend to do over the next few weeks. All right, the first thing before we jump into the live stream content, I'll invite you to like this video if you're enjoying the content on the channel and you want to support it, and to subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. You can also join us on Discord. This is, in case you don't know, is a chatting platform. There are different channels in our server which you can use to communicate to other people, with other people that are on the community, and share your projects or ask questions about different things that we treat here. There is a QR code up top in case that makes it easier for you to join, and a short URL at Nono.MA/Discord. The last live stream was November 25th, 2021. You can go to the video at Nono.MA/live/51. We did see the fourth part of Pixel2Style2Pixel. We saw a few more things on how we can train a model, and we got a few results. They were a bit weird. They're shown in this screenshot, but we're progressing there, and I'll comment what role that plays on the overall picture of the live stream. I'm gonna go really quickly and make this video public because I haven't made that yet. I scheduled it for 11, but it hasn't been shared as a public video, so we're 2 minutes in, and yeah, so that's there now. All right, so let's keep going. I said before I was gonna comment on what we're gonna do today. And the first thing is I do have a new recording studio. I'm recording here now. I'm using a different camera that I have been using for the first 48 live streams or 40 something live streams. I'm using a microphone that we've been using for some weeks, but it's also new, and I have new lighting. So I have a lot of stuff. I'm gonna show you a new mode that we can do here as well. So this is kind of the focused mode where I'm full screen, right? So I'm not just on the side of the screen when the content on screen is not super relevant right now. As you can see, I have this content here, but then we can swap to me on the right, as we have done in other live streams, and me on the center, right? So about the new recording studio, I had been working at home even from like a year and a half or 2 years before the pandemic started, the COVID-19 pandemic. And I was really used to working at home. But as we all know, the pandemic has changed our working conditions, or at least emphasized this need to work from home. And I had been doing all of these live streams from my living room for more than a year, right? And I had been looking for ways in which I could prepare a minimal recording studio. And I can say that today this is the first live stream that I am doing from the new studio. Someday, hopefully I can show the behind the scenes and show everything that's around me right now. We have a green screen behind me. We have like an Elgato key light lighting my face and the chroma. We have like a boom arm with a microphone here. We have absorption panels all around me to make the, to reduce the echo on this room. And we're using a Sony Alpha 6500 piped through an Elgato video capture device and got into the computer, right? There are many other things here on my desk, other tools that I'm not gonna comment on today, but I just wanted to share with you that this seems to be working. I have also, let me see if I can move to a different screen and show you something that I also discovered last week that I want to probably share on the live stream in the future for people who also want to do live streams and get their own channel or their own videos recorded. So these, I use OBS, which is the Open Broadcaster software. Is an open source software, or at least given out for free, which I use to live stream and anyone can use for live streaming. And I discovered, or I paid more attention than other times, at this panel of statistics, right? This stats panel that you can get out on screen if you go to the menu bar on OBS, click on view, and then click on stats, right? So if I close this, you can pull up that menu back on screen if you go to that option. So this panel allowed me to see right here, this is what you should be concerned if you're encoding video and streaming from the same computer which you're using to do whatever thing you're doing during live streams. And here you can see if there have been any frames missed due to rendering lag, right? So you see that here we just lost 1 frame since I started streaming, and you can also lose frames due to encoding lag because the encoding on your computer is not fast enough to keep the pace of, in this case, 30 frames per second. Maybe this gives a harder time to the computer if you set it to 60 frames per second because you have to encode double the frames per second. What was more important for me was this panel of live streaming and recording below, right? Right now I'm only live streaming, so I'm not recording locally to my machine. Let me take a look at something here. Yep, and this panel here shows that we're live, and it tells us, disk space available, that's more relevant if you're recording to your disk, and how much memory we're using. But in this panel, it tells us that we are indeed live, right? So the stream is live. And I was really interested in learning that I could look at how many frames have been dropped due to networking issues. This means your upload bandwidth is not fast enough to keep up with the pace of uploading all of those 30 frames per second that have been rendered and encoded by the machine. If you don't upload the frames that have to show up live on the video before the 10-second lag that YouTube puts between when I'm talking and when the videos are displayed online, it doesn't make sense to upload them anymore, right? Because there is no catch up here. If they don't show up live, we've lost them and there is no way in which they can be recovered. And what is important here is first to see if there are any frames that are being dropped, and then second, this bitrate here, right? You can see right now that the bitrate upload speed is around 13,000 kilobits per second, right? So that's KB/S or kbps. And this is what's recommended by on the official YouTube page, a support page for streaming at 2K at 30 frames per second. That's what I'm doing right now. So as you can see, I could probably stream at higher bit rates because this is pretty stable. But this should give a crisp image for for myself and for the screen that you're seeing above me. And yeah, so what the problem was that I was seeing many drop frames suddenly at random points. So my network was maybe uploading at 6,000 kbps or 13,000 kbps, and suddenly this bitrate was going to 0. So nothing was being streamed, or maybe that was getting to be lower. Maybe when Dropbox was uploading files, or when some other device was connected to the network, and I was seeing that this was red and that many things were being dropped, right? Many frames were being dropped. And that turns into a video in which, so a live video in which the audio sounds good. It sounds as it's sounding right now, because audio is super light and you can be uploading it continuously, but the video was choppy. So you would see me kind of jumping in time randomly, right? So I'm gonna keep this window to the side, on the side screen that I have here today, just to verify that nothing is that no frames are being lost while we live stream. And if you connect live or you watch this offline later, please point out to me if the video signal is choppy or something, and I'll take a look at it and see if what we can do. But I'm also increasing the bandwidth that we have here, so I don't expect any problems to arise. Plus, I'm streaming right now with an Ethernet cable plugged. So I was trying to stream with Wi-Fi, and I had been always streaming with Wi-Fi because the router was close to me and the speed was really constant. Now I'm streaming with an Ethernet cable, and that way we can minimize potential errors. And yeah, so let me see. I'm gonna pull up a screenshot here. Probably that might be useful for you to see, to get a bit more context on what I'm talking about. Let me see where this screenshot is. Right. Okay, so here it is. The important part is that even at 8,000 or 10,000 kbps, there were some drop frames, right? So there were drop frames, and that was making the video choppy, even though there were no problems with rendering and encoding, right? So this is a super helpful panel if you're trying to live stream and you don't know what the issues are on your video being chopped, or being choppy or laggy. And this part here, this rendering and encoding, will affect your recorded videos locally. And if this is all okay, recording videos should be okay. But still, if you're live streaming, you need to look at this: how many frames per second are being, how many frames are being dropped in total out of the things that you are streaming. And another thing is, like, once we're here, you could reset and then everything gets to 0. That's because if you have a specific moment in time that you have a lagging error, maybe your computer is calculating many things, you can say, okay, now my computer is okay. You reset, everything starts from scratch, and you don't have any issues. I mean, we can do that right now. So there have been some frames lost during rendering while we were talking, maybe because of some of the things that I have been doing on the computer. And I'll comment more on that in the future, probably. So we can go here and click reset, right? And now everything gets restarted. Now we start clean. We don't have any drop frames. So I can take a look in a few minutes and see if from now on we've lost any frames. All right, so I'm gonna leave these to the side. I'm gonna stop this video. And yes, so I'm getting a comment. Hi, Sajay. I wasn't. Let me change the view here. Sajay is saying hello. Early stream today. Yes, we have an early stream. We are testing. It's actually a public holiday here in Spain, so I don't have to work, and I just wanted to make sure that I'm ready to continue live streaming on Thursdays and over the next weeks on the holiday. Thanks for congratulating for the new studio, and he says video is crisp, no issues with video audio. That's awesome to hear, and I can see that OBS is streaming properly. All right, so I'm gonna get back at and yeah, this time, if this time works really well for other people, maybe we can do this time over the weekends or some other time, because I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to interact live. I'm also thinking of making a community call, right? Like a Zoom call where we all have our webcams and microphones, and we stream that live and maybe talk about how things have gone over the last year. So let's continue with our slides and topics. So that was it for the new recording studio. And I'm super happy that, that all of this makes this sound better, because I'm also going to be using this setup to record more content for the Getting Simple podcast. All right, so Pixel2Style2Pixel. Pixel2Style2Pixel, and I need something to change my scenes, right? Because right now I have to manually click on OBS, and I would like to, maybe that's something that we can take a look at later. There is a phone app or a way in which I can change the scenes from my phone. Okay. The Pixel2Style2Pixel experiment, I'm not sure if we're gonna have a look at it today, because I'm getting back at the live stream. I've been kind of with my mind on setting up the new studio. If we take a look at the results, right? So the results from previous weeks of the live stream, I just want to show you what we've done so far. Maybe that serves us as a recap. And for those of you who haven't been watching those videos, maybe that gives you a pointer of what you might find if you go to those. So those are live 49, 50, and 51, and 48, I think, as well. So I'm gonna go here and open. So in 49, we just have a few notes. We do have a Jupyter notebook that I might be able to pull that here. So that would be Pixel2Style2Pixel. Let me see if we go to live 51 collab. Yeah. So let's open that collab notebook, and here we have some stuff from live 50, which we started to see how to generate this sort of image. And I mean, this is not how to generate images. This was us trying to train Pixel2Style2Pixel model with the Flickr Faces HD dataset. I've seen that some of the dataset need up to 2 or 3 days to converge properly in the model. So that's how long it can take to train a custom Pixel2Style2Pixel model. But I've seen some other acceptable results, like the ones that you can see on the screen, a lot faster, in a matter of maybe an hour or less. So we have the frames here that we exported to make that GIF, which is not that impressive. We do have here the source code as we needed it to train. And here we have other things that we tested just to see how this worked. So this is me with the celebrities model. So original, like a real image on the left and a fake image generated on the right, which is a bit creepy. This was with the cartoon model. So this is a toonifying model. You input an image and it returns a version of it toonified. It makes a bit more sense to me with this one, where this is a real image and this is toonified as a kind of like a Disney or like character or some other toon image. We have this one as well. And it's interesting because this looks more like the style of this person, and these two, even though I input different images, it's outputting the same type of character, right? Like a similar type of character. And yeah, so the other experiment that we did, and this is like a recap on Pixel2Style2Pixel work that we've done on the live stream, is trying to train an encoder that inputting images of faces, we can retrieve a sketch of my making, right? This didn't really work that well because the data sets are super different, at least on the target image that we were trying to obtain. What we did last live stream was follow a tutorial or like a Colab notebook on how to convert PKL StyleGAN 2 models into PT, right? So those are PyTorch models. So I think from TensorFlow to PyTorch, and we reduce the size of the model and keep the capability of generating images, which is pretty good. And I'm not sure if we do have that anywhere here. Let me quickly, so I'm gonna quickly go and open my Google Drive, and that way we can see what we saved, right, from the other live stream. All right, yeah, so let me zoom into here and change the screen. So yeah, so we had a PKL file somewhere on a different Google Drive folder, and we created this best model PT. No, actually this wasn't it, right? We did that exercise, but we never got to save that locally. Maybe let me double check here that it's not on a different folder. Okay, yes, I have it here. So this was a network snapshot that we created during the live stream, I believe, or I did that offline. I don't remember right now, but probably during the live stream. February 4th, right? It was 364 megabytes, and we converted that to PT, which is 3 times smaller, and yeah, it's almost 3 times smaller, and it's compatible with PyTorch, which allows us to use it as a starting point for the not as a starting point. It allows us to use it as the StyleGAN model in training Pixel2Style2Pixel. Okay, before we go into that, let's take a look at what else we have here. So we also have frames here. Yeah, so this was super interesting because as we can see in here, and I'm gonna be going through these images manually. Let me see with you. All right, so here we do have a set of images that on the right is an image generated by my like a StyleGAN model trained with my sketches, right? And this image here evolves as the model is learning. So the Pixel2Style2Pixel model is learning how to encode these images into this image using this style model. It does really weird things, but after a few steps, right, I think this one goes a bit farther. Yeah, I don't think I saved the end results, but as you can see, these images start getting to look like a foggy version of the image on the left, right? The most advanced result that we were able to get with this was after training for 4,000 or 5,000 steps. I got something like this, right? So this is what the model did. It's kind of like an interpretation with the sketches model, which doesn't have a lot of definition, and maybe we could have gotten to a better result if we went farther, training more than 5,000 steps. But that's an experiment that we still need to make, and it would make sense that we prepare the dataset properly for the encoding to make sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do this yet. All right, so that is for what we've done and what we've seen on the live stream. And this is probably me putting into some model that hasn't been trained. And what we have here that I mentioned before is a notebook that we have pasted on the Discord server and on the Live 51 episode notes, I believe. So if I go to live 51, right, to train, yeah, so this is live 51, and yeah, so here you can get to the predict notebook and the training notebook, right? So the predict notebook is like, I think it's like a short version of what you need to set up or clone Pixel2Style2Pixel and copy a data set, I think. Well, this is a edited version of what is provided officially by the Pixel2Style2Pixel guys, and how to do inferences and visualize it. I was testing this to run with models that are provided by default and to run with models that we have trained, which is, the link is there on live 51's video description. And this one is, let me go sideways. So this one is a notebook that we completed, in which we can use to train Pixel2Style2Pixel on Google Colab. And yes, so we figured out that we needed to set the batch size to 8 and the workers to 8. So the workers and batch size to 4 instead of 8 for the CUDA memory error not to happen, because the graphics cards on Google Colab, even if we have Google Colab Pro right now, you have two 16GB of RAM graphics card, and this algorithm is not prepared to train on multiple cards. So it will run out of memory if you allocate more workers and batch size. Around 8 at least makes it fail for me. And yeah, so just by running this with the right pointers to the dataset and the starting points you want to train with, you will be training your model. One thing that I was doing that I think, I don't know if it's commented, yeah, so here the StyleGAN weights, I was using my custom StyleGAN checkpoint. As you can see, the one that we showed before that has been converted to PT from PKL. So we kind of completed a loop on how to train Pixel2Style2Pixel. I probably could prepare some slides to condense this into 1 or 2 or 3 videos explaining how to prepare a dataset, how to train Pixel2Style2Pixel, and then how to predict with it. And yeah, the training process is slow. I won't say that it's fast. And yeah, I don't know, maybe something that would be cool is see if, let me log in here while I have you there. So let me log into Runway ML and see if somebody has ported Pixel2Style2Pixel into Runway as a machine learning model. Let me see. And yeah, also, if you are online now or you join later watching offline, please leave a comment on the chat. Let us know where you're connecting from. ML Lab. All right, so here we do have the latest interface. I haven't opened this for a few weeks now. So this is the new interface of Runway ML. You can go at runwayml.com, sign up, log in, or app.runwayml.com is where they serve this application. And over the last months or over the last year, they've been transitioning to a new set of products that involves SQL, which is a machine learning video-based editor. It allows you to do a lot of things. I'm not in control of like everything that they've done so far, but I know that they're working on a lot of cool tools like the green screen feature and others. And the ML Lab. The ML Lab is what we've seen in many other videos. I think live streams 14, 15, and 16 feature how to train Pix2Pix model and use it with Runway ML, and also how to use StyleGAN models and many other things. And here you have example projects. You can create a new project. I'm not gonna, you see here you have green screen and in painting for video that is gonna come on soon, and they call these AI shortcuts. I'm gonna go here into the ML lab, which is what we may know of if you have been paying attention to some of the previous videos that I've done. And here you have a different set of features, right? You have workspaces, which are your projects. You have models, my models, which are models that you have embedded or added to Runway ML, and then train, which is for you to train models. So let's click on train. So they still have the same types that I had seen before. I have a few experiments completed that I did that you can see videos on my channel. Upgrade now for model training access. I don't know. Only subscribed users have access to model training. When you subscribe, you also get 1 credit-free training experiment up to 3,000 steps. All right, so if we go to image, I think this is still, okay, so this is live 52 test. I created, and I think this is still meant to train a StyleGAN model. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go back to train, and I'm going to delete this experiment, and I'm gonna go to workspaces, start by adding a model, go to models, workspaces, doesn't let me do anything unless I add a model. Let's make this full screen, so let me go to the right so you can see everything. And okay, I'll give you also another hint that there is a podcast episode on the Getting Simple podcast with Cristobal Valenzuela. There's actually 2 episodes in which I talk to Cristobal, and you can learn a lot more about the beginnings of Runway and his vision on how creativity and AI play together in these sort of tools. I'm gonna pull it up just for you to see. Let me see if I can open from here with the command line. So Getting Simple, I think with Chris should work as a short URL. Yes, and this opens up Machine Learning for Creators, which is the episode that I recorded with Cristobal some time ago, I think back in 2018. There's a lot of pointers to, I mean, you have the chapters, so you can jump to the parts that are more interesting for you. And you can also see many of the, here you can see pointers to many of the people that are doing interesting things with machine learning and creative coding, a lot related to this live stream as well. These are wonderful people and doing awesome things. You should take a look at them. And many pointers to many things that have to do with machine learning and generative models and programming and art and other things, right? We also talk about simplicity. I mean, it's on the Getting Simple podcast, right? And yeah, you should follow Cristobal if you want to get to know more about what they're working on. All right, so enough for that. I'm going to get back at where we were. And this is an improvised look at Runway ML just to see how they've updated. And you can see that I'm using the web version. I'm not using the desktop app. I don't know how much support they're providing to the desktop app. These are my models that I created, like Pix2Pix, some with my own experiments with StyleGAN, and some others that I was trying to import in here. I don't know if you might be able to find this Pix2Pix in Runway ML, because it's the only one I have public. The other, on this one, the other ones are private. Okay, so we go to models, view all models, then make this slightly bigger, so we can see the models with a bit more definition. And stylize your content. The ones that show the R are ones that are supposed to be have been created and made public by the Runway team and not by other contributors from the community. All right, so these ones seem to be working pretty well to stylize images, bringing old photo back to life. This image restoration model seems really good. Real-time high resolution background matting. Wow, this is really nice. All right, so these are just models that animal crossing character. Yeah, these are many models that are available here. Oh, this one shows up. I don't know if that is learn more. I don't know if this one has been used by others or if it's properly available, but I think it should. Yeah, and we should probably add attributions here. Okay, so let's not get into that right now. So we were gonna take a look at Pixel2Style2Pixel. I'm not sure. Okay, 0 results. Encoding in style. Pix2Style2Pix. PSP. All right. So if you look for StyleGAN, many models are gonna show up, but there are no models. This one is interesting. So Pix2Pix, so Pixel2Style2Pixel is not available on Runway, and I'm not sure. So let me just try a model. Let's see if we can. Okay, this one's here. I don't know if mine show more. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can use this one. Lemon Takism. Okay, so we have this here. Run model. Input type vector. Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see if we can make this work. I'm gonna take a look quickly at my credits. All right. So this model is now starting. I just wanna try it to see if we're gonna be able to do tests with Runway in future live streams with StyleGAN, and this will use credits. The last time I checked, the prices were 5 cents of a dollar per minute that you're running a GPU instance on the cloud. And as you can see, it takes a while for Runway to set up an instance and then get the model running and allow predictions from your computer. But we're gonna take a look and see if we can use it with these two different checkpoints. I'm not sure if you can hot swap them, so if you can change the checkpoint once the instance has started running, but we're gonna take a look. I mean, right now we're gonna go with this checkpoint that is the one selected, and as you can see, this says that it might take a while, which is a few minutes to set up the instance. And I don't think there's any other information about what's going on there. I just know you can export images and estimated cost. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. You can download individual images for free. All right, let's give this a quick second. Let me see what we have next here. We have, all right, so we're gonna go with that in just a second. Okay. All right, while this is happening, I'm gonna take a really quick water break and I'll be back. I'm gonna leave this screen here and I'm gonna simply hide myself and I'll be back really soon. Okay. All right. It seems like this has worked, so this is a success. We're now spending our dollars by by having this model run on the cloud. But as you can see, I can navigate in 3D and I can take a look at these images, and I can navigate the StyleGAN latent space in a 2D space, right? So this is flattening to a 2D version of it. And you can see that each image, as I move among these images are slight versions of, variations or of the images that they have around them. And so let's take here and change these steps. So I'm going to make the sampling distance a bit higher, so from 0.5 to 0.7, and see how much variation we get with the surrounding images. I think now images are a bit farther apart, so each of them is a bit more different than they were before from their adjacents. And let's actually make this a lot higher. Let's see if we get a lot of more variation. And the truncation, we're going to put to 0.25. So this makes all of the images super similar, so they're not, the variation is really small. Sampling distance to something super small. So now, yeah, now all the images are the same. Okay, so we're gonna set a big sampling distance and big truncation, so we can kind of jump to other places of the yeah, I don't know if this is what it is. Truncation to 0. All right, let's say regenerate grid. Let's start from scratch. Truncation. Okay, this is a bit better, right? Because these two images are sort of similar, right? They have similar features, but the variation, or like the changing rate between images, is a lot higher than before, depending on where we go, right? So here we've entered tree land. Yeah, this is cool because we've gone from buildings to things that have these type of trees here, and below here we have this other type of trees, and now there's no tree. Okay, so yeah, this works, and I don't think, we cannot swap the checkpoint live. We cannot do that hot swapping I was talking about before. So I can save this image, so it saves to my desktop. So let's see what resolution those images have. So these are jumps that are too big, but they probably still gives us a sense of animation, right? But if we want to make a smoother animation, I think we'll get the sampling distance to something super small. And then you can see that this is actually good content for an animation, which we're gonna do right now. Okay, so let's save all this. I can, oh yeah, and just something that we also did on a previous live stream I'll show now. So we've saved those images, we'll use them later. So if I reset my grid, I regenerate the grid, and I don't know, I like where I am right now, right? I like this image. Instead of saving the image, I can save the vector, and this vector is basically 512 float numbers, right? They look like this. And I can now, having that vector there, even if I go into Runway, right? If I say, okay, now imagine I reset my grid and I have a different image here. If I like that point, I can say, okay, I want to input a, why not? Okay, so I can load the vector, so I can load it here, and I can go to my JSON, load it, and that sets the input to what we had before, right? So now the image we start from and the adjacent images are the same as before because we've loaded that big number, which we could actually change manually and upload a new vector and try things that way. All right, so I'm gonna stop this now that we've played with it a bit. I hope that you enjoyed that in case you hadn't seen previous videos on StyleGAN that we've done here. And now in workspaces, I do have this lemon tagism, right? Workspace, I can click probably to open, well, it's here, right? So we open it that way. And for the data, right? So this is base64 representation of the image that we're seeing there, which is 1024 by 1024. This I think is a low res preview, so we're gonna see that right now here on my machine. So that's here, so that is on downloads, and we do have all of these images. So we have the vector we've downloaded, we have some folders there, and we have these images, right? So as we've done other times on the live stream, so I'm gonna get these ones as frames, and this is gonna be, oh, I don't know where that went. Okay, so I'm gonna go into downloads. So this is frames. Okay, so this is Russia 2007 GIF. This is gonna be our 52 folder. I'm gonna put that into our live stream folder. And what we can do now is I'm gonna make a GIF really quickly with ImageMagick, as we do often. So I'm gonna go into our folder. So let me see the folder in which we have these frames. And I'm gonna make a file that's gonna make a GIF. So convert, delay, 5 images, so 5 frames per second. And we're gonna get all of the images in frame dot, I think those are JPEG, right? JPEG. All right, and we'll leave the geometry, and we don't want this to log anything, and our GIF is gonna be named Russia .gif. This is gonna be live 52. Right, so now we do make GIF, and that will make a GIF. We do know that these images are 1024 by 1024, as I mentioned before, so that's the actual output of StyleGAN, and there are many images here. I duplicated them. What happened here? Convert. Oh, okay, so make GIF. I think I had a bug there, so I'm gonna make the GIF again, and here's my GIF. All right, so now that's done. So this is the GIF that we just made. A bit slow. Let's make it a bit faster. Okay. So this is the, let me see, why is this showing here? Okay, so this is the animation we've made. So this is a StyleGAN output from a pre-trained model that I have published to Runway. And these are just a few images from the latent space. In short, what we do here is that we input 512 float numbers and we get an image, right? There's some configuration of things that appear on the latent space in StyleGAN, and you can learn, so you can get them out by inputting a different vector. That's a VW, so W plus vector or a Z vector. The Z vector is easier to form with 512 float numbers, right? So from vectors, we get an image. The difference with Pixel2Style2Pixel is that we can get an image from an image because we input an image into Pixel2Style2Pixel that gets encoded into a W plus input vector, which is slightly different from the Z vector, but at the end of the day, it does the same thing. And then that gets input into StyleGAN and we get an image. So we're getting an encoder, right? So StyleGAN, you just input a vector and then get an image. So you have a decoder. So there is like a part of the network that decodes that vector with the network into an image. What PSP adds is that we add an encoder, right? They call this encoding in style because that input image gets encoded into a vector that then gets input into StyleGAN to decode that vector into an image. So we do something that is actually like Pix2Pix, where we get an input pixel image and then we get an output pixel image, right? Raster to raster, pixel to pixel. And they call this Pixel2Style2Pixel. Instead of Pix2Pix, is Pix2Style2Pix. So we have the StyleGAN in the middle. And there's still this concept of encoder, decoder, but it's a lot more complex than Pix2Pix. All right, so we have done that. So we've seen that. And so let me see. So this would be, what is it, like sampling distance longer, I don't know, something like that. So we're gonna also make this into frames and stop. Okay, so we can move these frames into here and then we can make a GIF out of this as well, but we're gonna slightly change longer sample distance, make GIF. All right, so when we see that this returns is that this is done. All right, and this will be the other. This doesn't make, as I showed you before, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be so fast because the images are so far away from each other that you just see many images passing by. It doesn't seem like a transition or a smooth transition. But anyway, so let's post these two to the livestream Discord server channel, because that way other people can see who haven't been able to see this video. Like, all right, let me pop this out again. So we haven't dropped a frame. We have the bitrate recommended by YouTube, which is 13,000 kilobits per second. And we've only lost 12 frames for rendering lag, right? So let's reset this again until we want to take a look at this later. And yeah, so I'm super happy that that happened and that we don't have any problems there. So I'm going to go here to the Getting Simple Discord, and I'm going to share these GIFs. So I'm going to expand here. Some animations created with Runway.MA from StyleGAN to images generated with Runway.MA on the browser. Okay, and we'll upload this one and this one. Okay. All right, so we need to think of images or like things that we can do with the models that have to do with Christmas and the holiday that's gonna come. I think that's a good goal to get. I was thinking of training some Santa Claus StyleGAN models or some other things. I've seen there is like a model that Descript has released to make deepfakes voices, right? Like synthesize your own voices with their overdub feature to create voices that sound like Santa Claus. So we're gonna try that in a bit. And yeah, so let's keep going. Let me bring back the slides. A really quick comment on the intelligence and sketching playlist. So we've been working on it. We need to do a lot of editing with some of the videos where we need to catch up. It's been, you know, this new recording studio thing has been dragging a lot of my time and attention regarding this project. The machine intelligence for designers course, we haven't done a lot on it. I mean, and we need to do that. We need to prepare classes. We need to prepare web or PDF content and also slides and lectures. And in workflow automation, I want to share many of the things that I'm doing to automate the release of the Getting Simple podcast, because I'm trying to reduce friction to a minimum. I'm trying to reduce it to really low levels in which I can record, quickly edit, or send to an editor, and then release the content, just having to prepare a few things for the notes and the newsletter and the image on the newsletter post and the social media feeds. There's a lot that I've done. One of the highlights that I'll do is that, so that I'll mention, is that I have a way to read id3v2 tags from MP3 files, from MP3 files of the episodes. I can actually quickly show you that. Let me see if I can pull up the minimal code to do that. And yeah, let's see. Give me 1 second here. So let me try. Okay, let me test something here before I show you. Okay, so as a quick recap of what I'm going to show you, we have a workflow to edit the podcast episodes with Descript. This is a machine learning based solution that allows us to automatically transcribe the episodes and edit the episodes as if you were editing paragraphs of text, but also as if you were editing a file on Adobe Premiere or Adobe Audition, like with the audio waves and stuff. At least for me, I think this is super nice because it allows me to do some editorial content when I need to, or like select paragraphs that I want to remove in advance without having to listen to them. So it saves a lot of time. It's worth the money. So I actually had to say I have an affiliate link, so they would pay me. I'm not talking about this because they would pay me, but I do have an affiliate link which I'm gonna add right now to the video in case you want to sign up through that link. I don't know. Let me see. So at Nono.MA /referrals, I have all of this. I have all of these links, and there's one for Descript. So it's basically this link that I'm gonna put on the. So I'll put here on the chat referral link to create a Descript account. And I'm gonna add that to these episodes. No, that's not on every episode's notes, but I'll put it on this one. None of them /referrals, but I'll put it on this one because we've talked about it. And so you can find that here. So Okay, so I'm gonna leave that there. And what I was commenting on is that we have a, so let me get back at this camera. So that we have a workflow in which we export the MP3 files, and they've done a great job to be able to embed the episode markers or chapters, the episode cover, the episode title, and the podcast title. And they also embed a few more things when you export an MP3 directly from Descript. So that actually saved me a step. I don't have to use Forecast anymore. I'm sorry that the Forecast application is going to be used less and less as these type of applications embed this feature into their software. But for me, it saves me time from having to export a WAV file and then import that and re-encode it in Forecast and then do more processes there, right? I also can add the summary of the episode right into the MP3 file from Descript when I export. So that MP3 file now is final. I can release that one. And what I thought of doing, and we need to see more of this in the future as I can explain this better. But in a nutshell, what I'm doing is that I'm using all the metadata contained on the MP3 file that I've already written and pasted and configured. I'm reading that and I'm populating the database of the Getting Simple website with information that is embedded on that MP3 file, which is super interesting because you save the steps of manually copying and pasting and synchronizing content that is in one place and the other. And we can also read things like the duration of the audio, the actual megabyte or like byte size of the episode, and other things. All right, so let me quickly test behind the scenes before we take a look at this. And again, feel free to drop any questions on the comments or on the chat of this video, or even on Discord. I mean, I think Discord will keep the things more current unless there's something that is super specific regarding the episode that. So this particular live stream. Okay, let me try something. Okay, so this seems like it's working. One second, I'll be ready. All right, so we have this concept. Let me put this aside for a second. So okay. Okay, so let me and hello to Bea, I see that you're connecting with us live. All right, so let me show up here. I'm gonna make a, let me see quickly. So I'm gonna set my system to dark mode so you can see this a bit better. And dark mode, okay. So this sets my terminal to dark mode as well. All right, so I'm here now. And, if you take a look at episode 33, for example, with Carmen Chamorro, this is just an example I got. There are these chapters in here, right? There is some other information that this website needs, like the summary, the title, the episode number, the duration, which you can see it's here, and other things, right? And if you take a look at the MP3 file of an episode, it's going to contain metadata. As I said before, the summary, which should match this one, the length of the episode, and other things. So if I go to getting simple app on my machine, and this is something that I can also run remotely, which actually gives me an idea that I could probably, let me see if I can do that remotely. I'm connecting here to the droplet. All right, so not here. All right, so let me actually open this here. Cool. So I have this, which is running on a remote server. This is a server that is actually running the website, and I can do something like this. I can say this is a convention to run a Laravel command, PHP artisan, and I can actually here specify an episode number. So it's going to be episode 33, and I'm going to do a dry run, so it doesn't really change anything on the website database. So this downloads the audio file, so the MP3 audio file, as you can see here, to the local machine where the website is hosted, and then it reads metadata from it, and then it deletes the file. So it just creates a temporary file. This knows that this is episode 33. It sees the title on the episode file, so this is all read from the MP3 file. It reads the description on the summary, or like the description of the MP3 file, which, you know, if you see portfolio careerist Carmen Chamorro on the benefits, portfolio careerist Carmen Chamorro on the benefits, right? So this match, if it didn't match, it will tell me here that there is something that has changed. It tells me this is 56:29 minutes, which you can see matches with what's shown there. The bytes of the episode, in how many kilobits per second this was encoded, the temporary file that is being used, and then all of the chapters, right? So these are chapters that if we upload this to YouTube or to a player, this would allow us to to go to any moment in time on this episode. And it tells us that it's a dry run, right? If I were to actually go to the live version of this site and temporarily change the description of this to, let's say, test, right? And I change this to, I don't know, like, let's say we say this is 6 and this is 30. So we've added 1, so I remember. Now, if I run this again, we can see that after it downloads, this is telling us that this is changed, right? So this is different than this because of the test part, and that the time and the bytes don't match. If we run this and we use the replace option, this will get overridden and everything will match the things of the real file, which is what we want, because we want the player to know exactly the size and the duration of this episode, not something fake. So I can go back and edit that to what it is, right? So we're just gonna leave everything as it was. Let's see if this synchronizes, and that now, well, this one hasn't really been synced properly, so we're gonna just make sure that this refreshes properly, and now that is working perfectly. And what happens with these chapters, right? What I was trying to suggest is that this thing here actually gets set here if this doesn't exist. So initially on an episode, you wouldn't have these fields. So all of those get populated from the MP3 file, and this one as well, which has all of the episode chapters that show up in here automatically. So this is a list of chapters that shows automatically. I don't really have to do anything. And if we had others, they will show up here. So let's say maybe 58, live 52, or 59, live 53, right? You just have to have the right format. And if we go here, we see that that automatically shows up there, right? And this allows us to parse, change the format or parse episodes or whatever, because we always have the same format in here. And all of these basically is the content that the website needs to create the content of in iTunes and Spotify and many other places, right? So that's one thing on workflow automation. I didn't think I was going to explain that today, but I felt like doing that. And I think that is it for now, right? For that on this. And we've run out of topics for today. I think this makes it for live stream today. I just wanted to fill in for last week, and I think this is a good catch up. It also really great feeling to be able to see that, you know, that this in here, that we have. Let me see where I am. So if I'm on the, okay, so I can set myself here. So this gives me a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to do great live streams from this new recording studio. We're almost not losing any frames, and you know, we don't drop any frames due to networking issues, and we have a bitrate which is higher than what I have been streaming in the past. I think it's more than enough for this configuration and this resolution at which we're streaming on. I don't have any other topics more than inviting you to the Discord server. There is a lot of people dropping by in here. I want to show my interest on taking a look at NFTs. So if you don't know what NFTs are, this is a website, like probably the most well-known website on NFTs. I have been browsing, and there's a lot of artwork here, and I honestly, I don't know. Like, I think this is all a bit of a bubble, but there is value in some of the artwork and some of the projects I do like. I've seen some friends told me about this CryptoBulls recently, which is a crazy project of 7,777 bulls that people are like betting on and buying, and I don't know really what all of this, the sense of all of this, but I'm gonna take a look at the world of NFTs. I previously had started a shop. Let me actually get back to. Let me remove the night mode. Okay, so I previously had created a store, or like a shop of my own. I started selling some artwork. As you know, I have tons of artworks on the making, and that I've made over the past years. And I do intend to get back at selling copies and printing high resolution reproductions, and maybe making NFTs of some of them. Those are, for those of you who don't know what NFTs are, I will point you to this Getting Simple episode of the Byte series, which covers NFTs and digital art. I talked to Aziz Barbar, and we discussed this. So copy link address. I'll put this on the chat on. So episode on NFTs. Podcast on NFTs. All right, I'll put that there. There are Bored Apes, and now a new Lazy Rabbit too, similar to the bull. Yeah, I think, you know, there are many different things that are showing up on NFTs. Sujay is writing here on the channel, and yeah, I think unless there are any questions, we can wrap it up. Let me close a few things here. I'm gonna have to change the date, so we still have Lemon Touchism open here. So we're gonna close Runway, and we have the live stream here. So I would remind you to. So I don't really need any slides anymore, so I can be here. I would invite you to like the video if you want to support the work that I'm doing here, and to subscribe if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. It feels great to live stream early in the morning because I feel I have a lot more energy than I do at night, in the afternoons, late in my day. So I might try to do this more often. And yeah, you should join the Discord community at Nono.MA Discord. The invite is on the video description as well. I want to hear from you what you think of this new recording studio, so leave comments on the video or on Discord. And feel free, as always, to send any questions about the last or previous episodes of the podcast at gettingsimple.com/ask. Again, it was Nono Martinez Alonso here. I want to thank you for being there. I think that you guys are the reason why I'm making this. I want to create more content so we can all learn and we can get to do more creative things, and things are more fun with machine learning and creative coding. And, one thing that I didn't fully mention is that we're going to have to get back at building the collaborative AI sketching platform. So we have a lot of work done there. I familiarized myself with a drawing app that Rob posted on the Discord server, and we're going to be there really, really soon. So without further ado, I'll like to, thanks for being there. Thanks a lot for watching. And so let me see if we have anything else. Okay, yeah, so that's it for today. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.